Hey y'all! Well, got a new product here that I bought, and it was a kind of tough decision to make, but after being given a demo of this, I decided this was something that I wanted to add to my audio arsenal. And we're going to do an unboxing, and then I'm going to talk more about what this is and why I bought it. So, let's get this thing opened up. As you can see, it's sealed up in the box new. And this is not something that I was able to find for sale on the used market. I looked and somebody had a version 1 of this, but I wanted to get the latest one because there were some really important updates to it. So, let's unpackage this thing. And, of course, it's got tons of foam, and let me go ahead and flip this over and we'll see what this thing looks like. Okay, we got it flipped over. Let's lift the box off. I found that's the easiest way to open up a lot of stuff like this. And inside it had a really nice, pretty heavy duty owner's manual, and it got a little cloth in here. We'll open that up in a minute and look at all that. Let's flip this guy over, and as you can see, we got tons of foam, pretty well packaged with, looks like engineered packaging, which if any of y'all have bought my stuff, it doesn't have engineered packaging. So here, there's another little, looks like this is some sort of a, looks like this is probably the water tank. And I've only seen one of these demoed. I haven't actually worked on one, but here's the water tank. And the guy, I watched him set it up at the local club, but then he said just put your record in and push the button. And it's the Degritter 2 record cleaning system. And honestly, there wasn't a lot to the unboxing. And like I said, here's the tank. We pull a little, pull the tape off of that, and then that'll be ready to use. Let's pull the rest of this tape off. Lid tape down, and plastic water tank, which I'm fine with. Something like that. I don't think you want it to be metal anyway. And yeah, I'm not expecting there to be a lot of metal in something made today, which is fine. And like I said, it looks like this tank just kind of probably sits here in the back like that. And there it is. Got a little slot in the top. You put the record in. Once you get it all set up, you just push the button and it cleans the record. And let's look at what comes with it. You get a pretty large bottle of their suffocant or their record cleaning fluid. And according to the guy that brought one of these to the audio club, you just put a drop or two of this in the water. It's really highly concentrated, like most of that kind of stuff is, and you don't want it to be leaving soapy film on your records. And I know there's cleaning kits or cleaning machines that don't use, fluid or suffocant, but it makes sense to me. You want something in there that's going to break the water tension so that it can actually get down deep in the grooves and clean them. And I guess this is a little thing for drops of water. You've got, looks like probably water filters, got a whole bunch of those. We've got a SD card, which I'm obviously going to read all these instructions before I go playing with this thing. It's got a little thing here with the high, medium, and low, whatever that, again, I'll get into that when I set this thing up. You got a fun little sticker. It's got a little spring and some rubber washers in here. And then we've got, like a quick start guide. We've got a comprehensive manual, and then we've got their logo on some sort of a cleaning cloth. So anyway, there's our unboxing. And well, no, that wasn't too exciting. Anyway, we're going to be doing a much more comprehensive review of this thing after I, get it set up and maybe show you all the setup process, which I'm assuming is probably not really difficult. What sold me on this, and what made me go out and buy one of these, because this was not cheap. With tax, they gave me a little discount at the local audio store, which I wanted to support the local audio store. And I'll talk a minute about that. Guys, if you've got a store in your area that sells audio gear, even if you got to pay a little extra money, go support those guys. Gives you a place where you can go down and talk to real people. If you have a problem, you can say, hey guys, I bought this thing from you 6 months ago. Can you help me navigate how to get this thing repaired? And they're going to help you. If these brick and mortar shops all disappear, there's going to be nowhere to go. And I watched it with the camera industry, or the camera business here in Atlanta. There was a great camera store, Showcase Atlanta, and people would go down to Showcase so they could look at cameras, hold them in their hand, get the advice from the professionals, and then they'd go order them off B&H up in New York to save 5% off the camera price. And they're out of business. So now, if you want to see a camera before you buy it, you can't. There's nowhere to go unless you drive up to New York. And the same thing's going to happen in the audio business if we don't support the local stores. So I got this from Hi-Fi Buys in Atlanta. Guys were super nice. While I was there, guy talked to me for probably about 45 minutes about different options on phono cartridges. He showed me some turntables. Another guy talked to me about some headphones, had questions about, I've been talking about building a headphone amp, and he helped me kind of navigate that whole thing. So let's talk about why I decided to spend $3,700, after tax, on a record cleaning system. And I know there is that Humming Guru that's like $600 or $700. There's the other ones that look like a rotisserie chicken little motor that goes through an ultrasonic machine that you can get for $150 off Amazon. And after reading the reviews about all the different solutions, everyone that tried this versus the $600 one, which that is a big price delta, going from $600 to $3,700. All the reviews said things like either, well, this isn't a good value, or, this seems to be overpriced. Nobody said it doesn't work good, but everybody just bitched about what they were having to pay for it, or they didn't pay for it and they bought the cheaper version. And people that have tried both said that at the end of the day, this cleans better, but that one's a better value. So then I have to ask the question, what is the value of an inferior quality product that does an inferior job? I mean, if it's not doing as good a job, it's not a good product. And, I can see if it's doing the same job and you get the same results and it's more money, even if it was, you could say, hey, maybe it's more durable and that kind of stuff. You can make a case for buying the cheaper one. But it just seemed like most of the people that were trash talking this were using the argument that, well, I got the same thing for cheaper, and they've never even tried one of these. And so they don't know it's the same thing. And the professional reviewers that did or have tried both said they could clean the record with the other one even multiple times, and it just got to a point where this was as clean as it was going to get it, and then they put it in this one, and it was much cleaner, and all the surface noise was gone. And one of the things that I've been kind of focused on recently with my system is getting the input source as good as I can get it. It's why I went out and bought a reel-to-reel tape deck and have been buying those 500 a copy reel-to-reel tapes. Is they are so clean and they sound so good that to me, it was worth it because it took my system to that next level before it even got to the amplifier and the speakers and all that kind of stuff. And I really believe until you get that input or the source is absolutely clean and as good as you can get it, no pun intended, that there's no point in going out and spending a bunch of money on high-end speakers or fancy tubes and all that kind of stuff if you're putting garbage into your system. So the test case here was, one of my favorite albums is Who's Next to Who. And I did a lot of research on what is the best pressing. And going through a bunch of forums, had people that have tried multiple different copies of new releases and first pressings and different manufacturers. There was a clear consensus that the first pressing from Track Records released in the UK was the best sounding pressing of that album. And I tried various, you get them off Amazon releases, or Acoustic Sounds had their double album set, and they sounded okay, but none of them really sounded crisp and clean. And then someone suggested trying that Music on Vinyl, and that copy really had a crisp, clear sound to it, but it was made from a digital source, and it just kind of had that digititis kind of sound to it. And when I would A/B listen to it, especially other people A/B listening to it, I had a couple other folks on different systems listen to the two copies, and while they admitted that the Music on Vinyl version sounded more transparent, there was something just kind of off about it. So years or so ago, I had found a copy of this first pressing track label from the UK, with the right SKU number and the stuff of the dead wax and all that, was like the one. And the guy said it was visually inspected in nice shape. It had some minor scuffing, but nothing, no scratches and that sort of thing. And when I got it, he was right. It looked really nice. But it wasn't play tested, which, as buying used vinyl, some of it, they say it's play tested, the grading is all over the map, it's very subjective. And when I put it on my turntable, hit play, it was just snap, crackle, pop, the worst vinyl experience that the digital people laugh about. It's like, it was just so noisy, you couldn't listen to it. And I tried doing it in like the rotisserie, or the chicken rotisserie ultrasonic cheap machine that a friend of mine has over his house, and that really didn't make any difference to speak of. I tried the wet cleaning with a disc washer, I think it was. I think that's the one with the little yellow thing that has the brushes inside with the soapy water or alcohol mix in it. Tried cleaning it with that. Didn't really do much of anything. I mean, it still was just, besides the noise, it was just really dull and flat sounding. And it was basically unplayable. So put it back in the box, but, I was kind of like, well, that was a waste of money. Yesterday, at the Atlanta Audio Club, and this is why I tell you guys too, if you've got a local audio club, go check it out and go hang out with them, because you're going to learn stuff. One of the members brought his Degritter 2. This is the new double thrown out version. It's got double transducers and stuff in it from the first version. And it's a lot more expensive, but it's got more stuff going on inside it. And you folks that know me, I'm calling out snake oil when I see it. And he started talking about, it's got 120 kilohertz transducers instead of 40 kilohertz, and it makes smaller bubbles that get deeper in the groove, and then when they pop, they break up the dirt that's inside or deep down inside the grooves, and it's got this special suffocant that comes with it that, surface tension breaker fluid. And he was just going on about what a fantastic machine this is and how it's, it's automated. It dries the record. It's got three or four different levels of cleaning. And he said, one heavy duty cleaning is going to be plenty. So I'm like, okay, I've got a really dirty record or a really problematic record. Run it through your machine. And we were planning on doing like a demo before and after thing, but we kind of ran out of time at the meeting. So ran it through one 10-minute cycle, and then, I went in and hit the button and restarted it for another 10 minutes. And he was like, you didn't need to do that. It's like, well, just let me run it through 2 cycles. And he's like, okay, you've already started it. Just let it, let me know when you're done with the second cleaning. So I did run it through 2 heavy-duty cycles because it was a really bad sounding record. And got home last night, and honestly, I wasn't expecting much. Maybe a little cleaner, but, it's probably not going to make a whole lot of difference. So put the record on, dropped the needle, and my jaw dropped. It was silent. There wasn't a single pop, click, anything. I mean, honestly, guys, it sounded like a brand new record. And the sound that came out of it was so dynamic. It had just nice, crystal clear, airy highs. The bass was strong. It was super dynamic. And it's by far, those guys were right, it's by far the best sounding copy of that album that I have. And before, it was just unusable. And I was so impressed, it was like, okay, I've got to come up with some kind of better record cleaning. Or I got to get something like this. And I was thinking at the time, though, but there's no way I'm going to go out and spend $4,000 on something to clean my records with. But after spending about 3 or 4 hours doing research online and looking at, the different solutions that are out there, and I've seen those, I think they're VPI, where you get the vacuum cleaner wand and all that stuff. And I've actually tried one of those, not on this record, but on other records. A friend of mine out north of here that I sold an amp to, he's got one. And I tried cleaning a couple of, noisy records that I had on his machine and came home unimpressed. I mean, it was a little better, but it wasn't like this, where it just transformed an unusable record into the best sounding copy of that record that I own. And so it got me thinking about what the owner of his machine was saying. He goes, it'll make brand new records sound better. And I'm thinking, what? Yeah, right. But then when he started explaining what was going on, that a brand new record, they put like mold release on the presser machine so that the vinyl releases, and that stuff is all down in the grooves, and you get a brand new record, and you need to clean all that stuff out of it, and it's going to sound different. And so, haven't done that yet. We'll do that as part of the review. I've got some really nice new records, and I've got some that are fairly new that, I try to keep them clean, but they're already developing some pops and clicks and stuff. And what made me decide to go with this premium model, not only because it's got really nice reviews and that people that have had problems with them, that the company takes care of their customers, and the shop that I bought it from said they've had the same thing. It comes with a 2-year warranty, which, yeah, maybe some people will say, well, what are you going to do if it breaks in 5 years? Well, if it does, it does. But anyway, I decided that I didn't want to spend the money buying the $150 chicken rotisserie thing, not being happy with that, going and buying the $600 Humming Guru, not being happy with that, and then end up buying this and having wasted about $1,000 on other stuff that I knew I was never going to be happy with. And sometimes you just got to pony up if you want something that's going to be good. And I'm not saying, hey, you need to go buy one of these. I know that $3,700 is probably more money than a lot of people viewing my channel have in their whole system. And it's more than like buying one of my amps and a nice pair of speakers costs. But I already own that stuff, and I want to get as clean and as nice sounding a presentation or output from my system as possible, and having ultra clean records is going to get me there. And for me, it was worth the investment. So there we go. Initial unboxing, the initial preview of it. Again, I haven't set this thing up. Got to sit down and read the user's guide, make sure that I do everything like you're supposed to. And then we'll do a follow-up probably in a couple of weeks after I've used this thing on some records, and let you know what I think it does for new records or, year-old records. Try some more like really bad vintage records. I've got a Carole King that's supposed to be a really good pressing of her Tapestry album that is so noisy I don't really listen to it. But I can hear there's something really high quality there, and I think this thing's going to turn that into a ringer vinyl as well. So, anyway, hope you've enjoyed this little unboxing video, and hope what I said about why I went out and spent this money makes sense to you. And I know that, hey, if you don't have the budget and you know that $600 or $700 is really kind of where you're going to draw the line. That Humming Guru, I've heard good things about it, but it's not at this level. And given kind of the direction that I'm going with my system, I didn't feel like spending that kind of medium price point cleaner, nor buying one of those $7,000 made in Germany aluminum ones. That doesn't make sense either. And so this seemed like kind of a place I wanted to be. So, thanks for watching the channel. If you're enjoying this content, please subscribe. Please like the video. Thanks to all you Patreon supporters, other folks that support the channel in other ways. I'm going to be going down to the Tampa Audio Show. I'm going to maybe try to do some video on with my phone while I'm down there, experiment with that. Give y'all, at least when I get back home, give a follow-up of like what I saw down there, what I learned from the show, and kind of my impression of that, because that's going to be my first real show that hopefully I won't have a medical emergency like I did last year. I'll be able to stay at the show. And then I'm going to be turning around in a couple of months to go into Expona, so that should be fun. So anyway, thanks for hanging out to the end of the video, and until we get the next one, have a nice day.